And Liz Scheinost is an accomplished business strategist with more than 15 years of experience dedicated to empowering nonprofits to achieve their mission. In 2023, she founded Alongside Partners to support nonprofits, community organizations, and small businesses to bring their dreams into reality. Last year, she led a really powerful session on why everybody needs a vision statement and how to craft one. And as we were talking about what was going to be different between this year and last year, it was really the caliber of who we were inviting in and the way we are thinking about things. Like last year was kind of 101. This year, it's like, we're off to the races. We're doing it, folks. You know you're brilliant. You know you're talented. You know you are capable. Let's give you all the tools and scaffolding to really get to that next level. So this year, yes, we're talking vision statements, but it's a total upgrade. So it's your North Star upgraded, how to reset your business vision to match who you're becoming, not just where you've been. So Liz, I'm so excited. I've not seen this presentation in advance yet. So I cannot wait to dig in and learn from you. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Olivia. Oh, I am so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to see some of you from last year when we started about how do we even think about a vision statement. And so when I think vision statements, I get really, really excited because as I think about helping organizations meet their goals, drive towards their missions, be more effective and efficient, really having a unifying vision statement that people can rally around, that you can be grounded in, is so critical. It's more than just something, you put up on a sign and that's like your vision statement that people see when they walk into your business or on a business card. It's really something that helps you with decision making, with unifying, and really driving your business forward. So last year was like, how do I make a vision statement? And this year, what I was really thinking about what we need is as we grow, as we evolve, as our entire environment has change and volatility, how do we make sure we're growing to meet the needs? And sometimes that means changing that vision statement, upgrading it, really making sure it still matches who we are and what we want to do. So I want to give an upfront warning. There will be homework in this session. You will not walk away completely done. So just level setting. So excited to spend this next 40 minutes or so with you all, but there will be homework for you to keep working on this when we're done. So without further ado, let us dive in. So let's start at a refreshing point. What is a vision statement? And Olivia, you can go to the next slide. Why do we have them? So when you have a vision statement, it acts as a true north for the organization. Where are we going? Where is that beacon we can hold on to when we're tired, when we're exhausted, when a lot of things are coming at us? Where is that true north? It also helps in making decisions. And this is one I really want to level down on. And if you've heard me talk about vision statements, you've heard me talk about this before, but it is so true. Vision statements are what I call a pre-decision. When we say this is who we are and what we are doing, we've already made a lot of decisions. It means that if something is not in line with who we are, we say no. If something is in line with who we are, it aligns with our focus and our passion and what we just really love to do, that makes the yes so much easier. And it also takes away the emotion of it. When you make a decision, you set aside time and you say, this is who I am. When tough things happen, when you've got a lot coming at you and you're trying to make a decision, you can look back at this vision statement and say, I've already defined what I am and what I want to do, and you're able to use that to help you make those decisions. So a vision statement is a pre-decision. It also provides those guardrails as you think about things you're doing and how you might do it. It gets a little bit of like, okay, here's my parameters. Let's stay within this. The other thing is it unifies. As you build your teams, it's a rallying cry. It says, this is who we are. So as you bring in people with different viewpoints and skills and talents, you say, this is what we all rally around. So that's why a vision statement is so important. But the next thing is, I want to say what a vision statement is not. So on the next slide, we're going to look at what it is not, and how we don't want to use it. So a vision statement should not be a 70-page document talking about every nuance and scenario that might arise. It should be pithy, it should be easy to understand, and it should be high level. It shouldn't be easily changed. And another thing is it shouldn't be used to reprimand. I used to work at a company that had a really cool vision statement, but one of the things was it said, we will be easy to do business with. And anytime the operational side of the house told the sales team no, they're like, you need to be easy to do business with. And they would like beat each other up with this. That is not the point of a vision statement, a mission, or a value statement. It's really meant to unify staff and bring them together. So as we think about this, you'll see, Liz, we're talking about changing our vision statement today. That's the whole point, but you say that vision statement should not be easily changed. And so I want to say, yes, I'm going to stand by that statement. Your vision statement shouldn't be easily changed. It should still guide you over 5, 10 years, but it is changeable. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Is this an inflection point where I need to say, you know what? I've changed, the environment changed, the needs of my clients have changed enough that I need to pivot, I need to upgrade, I need to evolve. Or maybe I just know a lot more than I did when my baby company was 3 months old, right? That's okay. We can change it, but I don't want to change every single year. These should still be something that guides us in a longer term view. So with that, we're going to start diving in on how to change that vision statement. So on the next slide, let's dive into that. Here's a quote that I've been using a lot in my work. It says, in an era defined by constant change, the risk of not embracing it is far greater than the risk associated with stepping out of your comfort zone. And so I think as we think about this, change is here. Like, we cannot deny it. We can't hide from it. There's constant change. If you live in the DMV like I do, it's like every single moment there seems to be something that's changing or impacting or going away or coming in, and it seems like chaos. And we're in an era of unprecedented change. Think about Friedman's book, Thank You for Being Late. If any of you have read that, it really just talks about how the speed of change just keeps speeding up. And so one of the things I want you to think about in change is our mindset. So Olivia, on the next slide, I'm going to start having you pause and start thinking about, what is my mindset? Do I crave certainty, or do I understand that I don't always get certainty? So in this game of life, we want to say that we're playing chess. Chess is moves and counter moves. If I make this move, the opponent will make this move. I can plan 17 moves in advance. I can understand the strategy. And if I play my strategy better than my opponent, I will win. But in reality, in life, we are playing poker, because there's luck, there's chance, there's other people who can do crazy things like throw something at us and, it turns out to be a red flag, or there's all these things that come at us. And we need to start shifting our mindset as we think about our companies from this, I know what will happen, and if I do all these right things, all these things will happen, to a more probabilistic mindset of, maybe I'm playing poker. Maybe there are things at play, luck of the draw, turn of the card, that I really need to think about and work. And so as we think about that, it really helps us start to think about change, because when we have a certainty mindset, when we're in that chess mode of move and counter move and move, we are certain of things. But when we're in a probabilistic mindset and we're thinking more of poker, like these 17 different scenarios can play out and I can do what I'm in control of, then it allows us to be open to change, to allow new information to come in, to continually being updating our strategy, who we are, evolving with the times, evolving with that turn of the cards, so that we can come out and win on the other side. So we are hardwired to want that certainty. We're hardwired to say, I started this business and this is who I'm going to be and this is how it's going to work and these are the steps I'm going to take. We want that. We crave that. My occupation is planning. I can give you a beautiful plan and it's on, PowerPoint and it's logical and flowing. I have never yet in my 15, 20 years career actually had a full plan play out, right? That's life. We make the plan, but then we adapt. But I think because we want that certainty, we want it to be like, I know I'm making the right decision. We crave that stability that we don't often say, you know what? I made a decision with the information I had at hand. And it was a really good decision, but the environment has changed and I must evolve. I must change to meet that. And so it really allows you to start thinking about, you know what, that decision I made last year, that vision statement I wrote last year, that marketing choice I made last year, that was a good decision with the information I had. Things have changed, things have evolved. I have evolved. I've figured out what really drives me after a year or two being in this business. I need to change with it. So really letting go of that, I am certain of this path. I'm certain of this move and counter move to thinking about, you know what? There's variables that I may not understand. And I'm open to new information. I'm open to evolving. I'm open to change. So with that ground set, I hope it gives us a little bit of like, you know what? I can evolve. I can change. It's not that I got my vision statement wrong. It's that I've grown. My company has grown. My clients are evolving with me. And how can I make sure I'm evolving to meet their needs? So in the next slide, we're going to start thinking about how do we do that? So if you get into that probability mindset, we shift from certainty and it allows us to be open to new information. So think about this. If you were to go into a coaching session with Olivia on day one and she said, you know what? I am certain that you need to do X, Y, and Z for your business. I am positive this is the path.
I would never.
I know, that's why I'm using this as an example because it's utterly ridiculous. And Olivia said, I know this is the absolute path for you. If after 3 or 4 more sessions, she'd gotten to know your company, she'd gotten to know you more, it would be really hard for her to pivot, right? Because she said on that upfront, I am certain. But Olivia says, I need to continue to hear information. I need to learn, I need to grow, I need to understand with you. And then saying, hey, what I've heard so far, we might go down this path. And she allows herself to have that opportunity to say, you know what? Nope, we got new information, we can pivot. But the moment we say, I am certain of this path, I'm certain of this, it becomes much harder to pivot. And Olivia is a great example of that. That's why I pick on you, because never in a session have I heard you say, 100% you need to do this. You say, with the information we had, let's try this path. Let's see what this path leads us to. One book or resource that I really encourage you to think about is called Thinking in Bets, and it really talks about that probability mindset and how we can make decisions without that certainty mindset, moving more towards that probability mindset and leaving ourselves open to change. So on the next slide, we're going to start thinking about how to do this. So I've got a worksheet because you're going to have homework, right? So I got to get that going. I'm going to put a link in the chat and get that to you. So feel free to grab that and we'll start on part 1. So for those of you, actually, let me pause and ask, how many of you have a vision statement already?
I literally only have one because I wrote one with you last year in this session.
Love it so much. If you don't have a formal vision statement, that's perfectly fine. Pull out, like if you've got an elevator pitch or a description of your business or part of your website copy, go ahead and pull that out and get that in front of you. So write it out, get it in front of you. That's what we're going to use and think about that. So everyone got that? All right, I think we're in good shape. So the next step is, as you look at that vision statement, and again, That vision statement might be the same vision statement you walk out of this session with, and that's okay. And it may change. That's okay. As you do that, I'm going to have you guys spend a little bit of time working on the first two questions. As you look at that, what still resonates with that vision statement? What you're like, yeah, that's still very true. That value is at the core of who I am. That's really true of my business. I really resonate with that. What are those elements, those pieces of that statement that really resonate? And then what, if any, elements are no longer true? So pull that vision statement and do that part one. What do you want to keep? What do you want to throw out? So I'm going to give you about 5-7 minutes. Look at that vision statement, look at that website, your elevator pitch, and say, what resonates? What do I keep? What do I need to throw out?
And Liz,
Yep.
since not everyone was with us last week, I'm sure there are some folks who don't have a vision statement yet. Can
Yep.
you give just some action items so that they can also make good use of this time?
Yes. Actually, Olivia, if you want to flip ahead, I think to slide, keep going. It's like 2 or 3 more. Okay, one before that. For those of you who don't have a vision statement, here are some questions to ask yourself. Slide 11. What is my dream? That's a keep. What are your values? That's a keep. What makes you unique? That's a keep. So for those of you who don't have any comparable description of your business or vision statement, write in your keep column the dream you have for your business, the values that define your business, and what makes you unique in your business. That's in your keep. You don't have to throw anything out, those things. So we've got, what are we keeping? We've got, you know what? These don't feel true anymore in that category. But the other thing is, what is changing? What might need tweaked? What might need, massaged a little bit? So trends are really important in our work to understand, to see, and to incorporate into our business plan. So a trend is a general direction in which something is moving, developing, or changing over time. It's not just a passing moment like fad. It's a sustained shift in behavior, values, or preferences. So a trend is something we're seeing. It's not a scenario of something that might happen. That's a useful tool in planning. But trends are really, what are we seeing in that environment that we work in? So some questions for you guys to think about for these trends that are impacting our business and the evolution of our business is, what am I seeing in myself? For example, you may have started your company and you had, 4 different lines of offerings that you gave to. If you were consulting, you do, this type, analytics, AI, and something else. And as you got into it, you found that all your passion and your joy was in 2 of those streams. That's a trend. You're seeing something, and the ones that you kept procrastinating on, those clients that you just didn't find that joy in, you never quite felt like you were able to deliver your best product. That's a trend in yourself. Then think about your clients. What are you seeing in your clients? When are they most engaged? When are they most living out the principles you're sharing, or engaging with your business, or referring other clients? Where are you seeing those pockets of that happen? That's a trend in your client. And then what am you seeing in the environment? For example, in my line of work, I do, strategic planning, all that fun. But what I have seen in my environment is that people are really struggling to make decisions because of the volatility, because of the uncertainty. Leadership teams are like, Liz, we just don't know how. We have decision paralysis. We don't know which path to choose. We know there's going to be repercussions on all sides. We need help making decisions. So that was something I kept seeing over and over and over again in my environment. And I said, I'm going to have to add that into my toolkit, into my consulting package, helping leadership think through decision-making in this really, really volatile time. So those are some trends. So take a few minutes. Let's do 3 minutes and jot down some trends. What are you seeing in yourself? Where's that passion? Where's that maybe reticence? What are you seeing in your clients? Where are they most engaged? And what are you seeing in your environment? One thing I like to caution you about when you're thinking about trends is mistaking a fad for a trend. I myself fell into the TY Beanie Baby craze, and it took me a long time to get rid of all those Beanie Babies. And let me tell you, there was no return on my investment. So really take the time to understand what's a trend and what's a fad. So saying, okay, is this something I've just seen once in a really big way, or is this something I'm actually seeing repeatedly? I'm seeing this happen with my clients on, more than one occasion. I see myself acting in the same way on more than one occasion. So yes, make sure it's a trend, not just a fad, because like I said, we don't want vision statements that change with every wind and gust and go. We want it to be guiding. We want it to be strong. We want it to last. But there are trends and there may be changes, and that's okay. We need to update, but we don't want to become swaying in the wind one way or the other. All right, so those are trends. And again, as we think about this, there may be, a lot of trends that are coming, a lot of things that are changing. And we look at our vision statement or a description of our business and say, you know what? These things are still changing around me, but the root still the same. And I've seen organizations spend months looking at their mission and vision statements and being like, well, this is changing, this is changing, this is changing, and this is changing. And then 3 months later, after many conversations saying, you know what? Our vision statement still resonates. No matter what's going on around us, we are all together, we're unified, we're going after this. And then in other scenarios, they say, you know what? Nope, we've got to rise, we've got to meet this. So again, I just want to drive it forward. I know I'm saying it a million times. Both options are available to you. Keep or update. Okay, so let's keep going. The next step is really thinking about that future state. Again, we want this to be a North Star. We want to guide us into the future. We really want it to be that pre-decision when clients come our way, when opportunities come, when difficult things come, helping us say yes, say no, say maybe not this, but let's try this approach, really helping be that pre-decision. So let's take a moment and think about that future state to again make sure the vision statement will guide us in the future. So take a few moments and think about in 5 years, in 10 years, where do I want to be? In 5 years, in 10 years, who do I want to be? In 5 years, in 10 years, what do you want to have accomplished? So jot some ideas down. Again, this is just a starting point for your later homework. Thinking about that future state. Where do I want to be? I want to be blank. Who do you want to be? I want to be a fantastic manager of a thriving team. I want to be a constant in my community, providing services that build up my community. Whatever that statement is for you. And then what do you want to accomplish? I will have grown my team to this. I will have delivered a best in class this. So think through those statements. Where, who, and what. All right, so the next step, you've seen this slide before, but as you think about that, those first inklings of a vision statement or your previous vision statement, thinking about those trends that you're seeing, things you might want to update, go back and think through. Does this vision statement, do these things I wrote down on the keep column reflect my dream? Do another check. Does it reflect that bigger dream that Olivia talked about? Does it reflect my values? And value statements are incredibly helpful, saying, what are those things I hold to? So for example, in my vision statement, one of my values is I will bring people together. I will make people stronger together by saying, you have this strength, you have this strength, let's come together. Collaboration, working together, that is a value that is at the core and the center of who I am. And I build my business that way, right? So in that heat, does it reflect your values? And then does it reflect what makes you unique? All of you bring something very unique, special to your dreams, to your business, to the way you work. Is this statement that we're thinking about, this identity statement, this vision statement, does it reflect you, or are you trying to reflect someone else? Is there someone else that you've seen do your type of business and you're like, oh yeah, I'll make that? No, I want to make sure it reflects you. You are in this for a reason. You have this dream. You are unique. You bring specific skills to this. So this vision statement should not be generic. AI should not be able to make it for you. It can help you. It should reflect you. So do these statements reflect what makes you unique? And then last but not least, as you review these things, ask yourself why. Why do I have this dream? Why do I have these values? Because sometimes we have them because we think we're supposed to have them. We have them because people told us to have them. Like, just do a gut check and say, I dream this dream because I know in the core of my being, I was made to do this. This is what I love doing. This is my passion. This gets me up in the morning, even in my PJs at 9 a.m. on a Friday morning. This is what gets me excited, right? So ask that why. Okay, so refine and finish. This is what you're going to do, is take all these jots on a page and make sure it says, does this vision statement get me to where I want to be, who I want to be? And then once you feel like you've gotten this statement pretty far along, and for those of you coming from scratch, feel free to use AI, Google, and say, what does a good vision statement look like? They'll have some forms, some patterns you can follow to help you make it go. But write it all out and then pressure test it. Say, how does this make me feel? And this is a lesson I've learned from Olivia really, really well, is sometimes I can make a plan, create a strategy, and when I think about it, I tense up, or I get this feeling in my gut. And Olivia always tells me, your body never lies. So listen to it. As you read that vision statement, does it make you think, yes, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love to do. Or is it kind of like, listen to your body. How does it make you feel? And then once you've passed that pressure test, take it to your circle of support and see if they agree. Those around you in that first circle that know you well enough to be like, no, you missed something. Like, take it to that group. Olivia's in my group. She's my circle of support. And say, hey, here's what I'm thinking for my business. I've upgraded it. I've evolved. This is what I think about who I am as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Does this make sense? And they'll be like, yeah, and they'll cheerlead you. Or they might say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this trend? Have you thought about what this is changing? So make sure you got that. And then once you get to a vision statement point, the last step is non-negotiable. If you just write it on a piece of paper, slide it into a business plan, and never reference it again, it will not serve you well. So make a vision statement, put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your company's webpage, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your mirror for when you get ready in the morning, put it on Post-it notes on your monitor. Let it remind you what you're doing, what that higher vision of the future is, and where you want to be. So those are your homeworks. Take all of those things you put together, build that vision statement, pressure test it, and then make it visible. So yeah, those elements will come together to write the vision statement. And Leah, I can put an example in the chat for you, but also just Google say, what makes a good vision statement? And they will have really easy patterns that you can follow and pick and choose. So it's many times, we exist to do this, or we are this and we will provide this. So there's a lot of ways you can build that vision statement. So I'm going to pause there. Olivia, anything to add that you've seen as people really start to define their vision statements, their statements about who they are as an entrepreneur?
I think number one, which we already touched on, is people dream too small. So push yourself to dream bigger. Loop in your business bestie, loop in a coach, loop in me, email Liz. Like, we are available. We want to talk to you. We love this stuff. And we can help push you to like realize what you are actually capable of, because so often that's hard for us to see. So dream way bigger. And then I had a second brilliant point that has just fallen right out of my head. But I think, yeah, dream bigger is number one. Oh, I know what it was. When you have your vision statement ready, to Liz's point about how does it feel, I want you to make sure that this is a vision for a business that you actually want to build and run. Culture is giving us all these messages. We are seeing people in similar or competing industries doing it their way, and they are making bank. And you're like, oh, so that's how I have to do it. Absolutely not. So I want you to make sure that once you have this drafted, just check in and make sure that it actually belongs to you. And if it doesn't yet, that's fine. Great data. Work with it, refine it, loop in your people, and turn it into something that is really expansive, really beautiful, and uniquely yours.
Thank you, Olivia. I put some examples in the chat of some well-known ones. I'm going to give you my vision statement as well. And so really make it as short, pithy, or as, mine's more of a run-on sentence, and I'm okay with that. So really make it what works for you, what helps you make that pre-decision of this is who I am, this is the work I'm going to do, this is what's going to drive me forward, right? And then, like I said, once you do that pressure testing, once you do that building, share it with that circle of support, and then make it visible. I have a good friend, she owns a PR company. She has it framed on her dresser. So when she gets up, she kind of actually verbalizes it in the morning to remind her as a working mom with a thriving company, why she's working so hard every single morning. It's to be the best in class PR Colorado firm. She says that statement to her every morning. So put it where it's visible. Don't bury it in a business strategy deck. Use it, make it, and go from there. So on the next slide, Olivia already alluded to this. Olivia is here. I've grown so much in my business and how I think about it. She really helps and guides and helps us really come to that aha moment of what is that vision statement. So don't hesitate to reach out to Olivia if you have questions about, formal vision statements for your company or decision making in times of change. Anything along those lines, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm also here to support. It's been a pleasure doing this. And then Leah, I'm seeing your question in the chat. Yes, so it's not just what you do, but that vision. Where are you going to be? Who are you going to be? How do you get there over the next 5 to 10 years? So really, not just who you are today, but really defining what does that look like? So it inspires, it resonates, and it drives you forward. Yep. Yeah. Love it. Any other questions, thoughts as you do this, as you're prepared to do your homework? And I really highly recommend getting a glass of wine and going into a corner where there's few interruptions and do your homework there, because we're not in high school anymore. We can't drink and do homework at the same time. In fact, I recommend it.
Or like a nice herbal tea for those of us who are off the sauce. Bevy of choice. Bevy of choice.
Bevy of choice, but a good one to help get the relaxation and the inspiration going.
Yes.
Any other questions before we get our second cup of coffee or tea or more water for hydration and go on with our day?
Well, thank you so much, Liz. This was awesome as always.